Welcome to the Sportsheads, sponsored by redzonesports.bet. Today I'm joined by the UK editor of Lindy Sports Magazine, Simon Milham, and we're going to go over Milham's six-pack, which is basically 6 games for the week, and it will give you betting tips and the spreads. And first game is going to be Baltimore at Jacksonville. It is a home game, right?
I mean, the Jags traditionally don't do well as a home underdog against the spread. They're 8-18-1 as a home dog in the last 5 years. So there's a start for you. Jacksonville, not great at covering the spreads, but they have won their last 2 games in London. In the 17 London games there have been, the road team, which is Baltimore in this respect, are 10-7-1. The favourite is 10-7 against the spread as well. So the Jags, they lead the series 11-9, so they've got a bit of history. But in the last 10 of the last 20 meetings between the two, there's been 3 points or less between them. So it could be a close game. The odds makers are saying it's going to be a close game. But the thing that gets me, I mean, I don't know your thoughts on this, Blake Bortles against this defence.
Well, I don't think they're going to get anything from it, to be honest. I think we could see game week 1 again with a complete shutout. I don't want to disappoint the London fans there for the Jacksonvilles, but I still think Ravens are going to cover that bet quite nicely.
Great thing we get to see is Leonard Fournette as well, the Jaguars. I mean, he's the one key to their offence. It's whether or not they can break down this really staunch Baltimore defence this week. The special teams lapses have been killing the Jags, and they've been having silly penalties at wrong times as well. So that's a key for me as well. The Jags defence is for real. They're 6th overall last year defensively. They've put up some good numbers already this year. They've brought in some high-priced free agents like Calais Campbell and Malik Jackson. So everything's holding up really well for them. It's a strength on strength. It could be a low scorer. The over-under is 39.5. I'm inclined to go under with that as well. But I like Baltimore. Simply because in a battle of quarterbacks, I trust Joe Flacco more than I trust Blake Bortles.
Okay, so next game, Green Bay Packers against Cincinnati Bengals. You've got them there as 9-point favourites. Now that's just as many points as actually Bengals have put up on the board for the first 2 weeks, right?
Exactly, and the problems they've got offensively stem from the fact that they've lost Andrew Whitworth. They didn't want to pay him the big bucks. He's gone over to LA Rams, and you can see the output they're producing now. That Jared Goff's got a nice clean pocket, so the Rams are doing really nicely. Thank you very much. That's purely and simply Andrew Whitworth. He gets bodies downfield. He can move that offense. He can protect Andy Dalton. I was going to say Carson Palmer then for a minute. That's your guys. Yeah. But the thing is, the Packers are actually banged up. That is the key with this one. They've only got 3 healthy defensive linemen. Mike Daniels went down with a hamstring injury last week. They did sign Ricky Jean-Francois. He's a run stuffer more than anything else this week. But they've looked starting offensive tackles as well. David Bakhtiari and Brian Beluga. They could well be out. They also lost Randall Cobb, wide receiver, with a shoulder injury. He looks like he's going to play, but it is a 50-50 case with Jordy Nelson as well. So Aaron Rodgers' offense is a little bit limited, but you look at Cincinnati, they're doing absolutely nothing. They cannot move the ball in any shape or form. And they've allowed 16.5 points a game, which isn't bad. You look at the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals, you think actually that's not a bad output. But then you look who they played. Baltimore and Houston, they're the most 2 anemic offenses you could ever wish to face. So yes, they might look good on the stats, but you'd expect Green Bay to roll. Cincinnati actually have won the last 3 meetings, but they've never won 4 consecutive trips to Green Bay. So that's a key for me. I don't think Cincinnati are going to win this. I expect Green Bay to cover. The over-under is 44.5. Given the fact that Cincinnati can't seem to score, I'm tentatively going to look at the unders there. I think it'll be a lower scoring game than 44.5.
Okay, which brings us to our next game, and as cheekily mentioned there about my team Arizona, he's actually got the Dallas Cowboys favourite over us by 3 points. Now,
yeah, I think worthy as well. Looking at it, I mean, you Arizona. You tell me a little bit about Arizona. Who've they played?
Yeah, but our record's good against the Cowboys. So
it is.
Tell
indeed.
us this thinking.
Yeah, they've won 7 out of the last 8 meetings, so that's why the line is lower than you'd expect it to be. I've got Dallas as probably about a 6-point favourite, 6.5-point favourite. But will the real Cowboys actually stand up? I mean, they go to Mile High, and basically they were manhandled by a really good defence by Denver, but they were manhandled. Zeke Elliott, 9 carries, 8 yards. That just isn't getting. Dak Prescott's thrown a couple of interceptions. It's not looking good. I mean, I do question about this Dallas offensive line. How good really is it? But the key for the Cardinals is that Carson Palmer is struggling.
Okay. Hopefully we go against that bet. I'm going to go against that completely. However, on the next one, Cleveland are the favourites at the Colts. Yes, that is right. Cleveland are the favourites at the Colts.
You didn't misread that. I'll tell you what, this is the first time they've been in the role of a favourite since week 12 of 2010. You weren't even born then.
Let's not go too far.
Here's a Fox fact. They've had about 230 quarterbacks since then, Cleveland.
Wow.
It may be more.
I might get a game.
But the Browns have faced Pittsburgh and Baltimore, two top defences in the first 2 weeks. So that's why they're the favourites. Indianapolis, they were blown out against the Rams. They bounced back last week. For me, I think the signing of Jacoby Brissett is absolute key for Indianapolis. I looked at it and I thought they've got the worst end of the deal with New England there, because they sent Dorsett to New England and they swapped Jacoby Brissett. But the great thing about Brissett is he's young. He's only 24 years old. He's won games in the NFL before. I think he's got a 2-1 record. He started out winning against Miami, and we'll remember that one. He's had 3 weeks in that system, which is great. And he sees plays well. He reads the defenses well. He's still got a little adjustments to make at the line of scrimmage, but all young quarterbacks have that problem. So he will evolve, and I think it's actually a really good signing for Indianapolis. I've gone with the Colts. They've won 7 of the last 8 against Cleveland, but I think the way they bounce back is it shows me Brissett has got control of. He's mastered what's there in Indianapolis, and I think we're still going to see a little bit of improvement along the line for the Browns. They are improving all the time, but I just think it's a bit of a gimme, really. Getting a point at home to the Cleveland Browns is daft, really.
Okay, and game week 3 brings us to the next 5th game that we've got here. Seattle actually going to be favourites again against the Tennessee Titans. I'm struggling to see this one, considering they've got 1 touchdown in 2 games.
I take your point, but you look at the last 3 seasons. Seattle has gone 1-7 against the spread in the first 2 weeks of the season. They are a perfect 3-0 straighten up and against the spread in week 3. So slow starts are nothing new to Seattle. The offensive line, it's well documented. Their offensive line is all over the place. They still have Russell Wilson, obviously, but Tennessee are a good football team. They were touted as being a really good football team to start the season in pre-season. I think they're going to walk away with the division, the AFC South, at a canter. The schedule for Seattle actually is interesting because it looks a really soft schedule. So if they don't get it on track this week, they've got to face the Rams, they've got to face Indy, then the New York Giants and Houston. None of those sides have got prolific offenses, especially the Giants, Houston and Indy at the moment. I look at some of the signings that Seattle have made. Eddie Lacy, for instance. I know you're a big fan of Eddie Lacy. You thought he was going to do big things there, but he's had 5 carries, he's had 3 yards, and he was a healthy scratch from week 2. That can't be good. They've got a problem with their running game. That just shows me that not all the pieces in place at Seattle, but for some bizarre reason, I just think they're going to run right down at the gut at Tennessee. I think they've got a bit of a soft interior. We'll see how that goes. I've got Seattle as 3-point underdogs there. I think I'll take them and the number. I think they may even just cover that as well.
Okay. And into our final game, Denver Broncos up against the Buffalo Bills. You've got them as 3-point favourites. Now, Trevor Siemian, obviously doing all right, but no starting left tackle. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it could be a problem, and I think that's partly the reason why the line is so short, because when you look at Denver, it's a no-fly zone. They manhandled Dallas last week, and you look at the receiving core of Buffalo, and it's a no-receiver zone, basically. They haven't they haven't got anybody that you'd know. Zach Jones is going to be a good player going forward. He made a crucial drop last week, but Buffalo's defense is very, very stout. They haven't let too many points in. But as I say, I mean, they should be a touchdown favourite in my book. Denver covering a spread of 3 looks pretty decent to me. I'm going to get sucked into this. Alarm bells, I wouldn't usually touch the game, but I just think Denver is just far too good. It's an anomaly. The under-over is 40 points, and I think that will probably go over.
Okay. Well, Thanks for joining us for Milham's six-pack. Obviously, look out for any special offers that you'll find at redzonesports.bet. And thank you for having us.
Hey, thanks for watching Sportsheads. Don't forget, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, but you can also hit us on Twitter, Instagram. We would love to hear from you. We're trying to take the program from next level to next level to next level. Enjoy.